Hello and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for July 15th to the 22nd, 2022. I hope you're all well. The day I'm recording this is the Wednesday before the Friday that this gets posted. It is a full moon in Capricorn, a supermoon, the closest the moon is to the planet. So emotions might be a bit intense at this time. Astrologers are talking about this being sort of the high point of the year in terms of intensity. That the rest of the year is going to be intense as well, but just so that if you're experiencing any of that, not to freak you out, but just to remind you to take your deep breaths and come back to yourself and relax. Be a center, a clearing for peace within yourself, and that will help to reflect out into the world and support anyone else who might be going through this time of intense energy, astrological alignments, etc. And if you're peaceful and happy, well done. Keep going. We much appreciate your good vibe in the collective. And with that, let's take 3 deep breaths together. Pull our energies into sync and get this reading started. So I just invite you to close your eyes. You know the rote. 3 nice deep breaths. And just see a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine. Anchoring you here in the now, knowing that that conduit that is connecting you and grounding you is also an opening, a channel through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down from your physical and energetic field and go down into Mother Earth and become compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children now and in the future listening to this recording. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to receive right now, and to provide that in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. I'd like to invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future to be present and facilitate this exchange, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, so that we cover all that we need to cover for this week, July 15th to 22nd, 2022, for our greatest awareness and well-being and grounding as we walk through life and bring our best to the world. At this time, I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of light, of love, of healing, of wisdom, of transformation, of peace, of encouragement, of support. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. Anything that doesn't match these frequencies is welcome to go now. And let's get started. Okay. I thought I'd celebrate high summer with garden roses and lavender. And as I brought the roses in, one of them fell apart, so I brought the petals in as well. Just lovely heart-shaped, velvety pink petals, very fragrant. Okay, enough blabbing. Creator, this is your daughter Titania. What is it that we need to know? What do we and everyone listening now and in the future most need to know this for this week, July 15th to the 22nd, 2022, that we may be centered and peaceful and grounded and perhaps even clearing away whatever is in the way of us being efficient and effective in what we need to get on to with, even if it's summer and it's just about enjoying. So what is most supportive for us to know right now, Creator? Okay. Recent past. So what do we need to know, carry forward from our past to support us in our now? We have the Death card of major transitions, of endings, of finality. It can mean physical death, but it can also mean just radical transformation, which is, often what it feels like when we're at the end of something, some aspect of our life that has taken a lot of our energy and bandwidth, something we've identified with for a long time. And then we change, and then that no longer identifies us. That's no longer who we were. And we move forward into this new identity, a new life, a new sense of who we are. As always, reminding you of the cocoons at the bottom and how it must feel for a caterpillar to go into the cocoon and then be transformed, metamorphized into a butterfly, and how different one's experience is from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So those qualities are what the death card are all about. And it's important to just bring that awareness and that energy through. It is a major arcana. It is very important to our soul growth. We have to do death well. We have to do endings well. When we do them well, mindfully, with intention, with love, with presence, we can complete something deeply and let it go at a deep level. Again, with love, with appreciation, with gratitude, because everything that happens to us is a gift. Everything that happens to us is a blessing. Even if it's hard, even if it's really challenging, even if it's ugly in our judgment, it all serves our greatest good. And so when we can end things well, we free ourselves from the sticky energy of that attachment, the negative attachment, if you want to call it that, of an event that maybe is holding us in a way that we no longer need to be held anymore. We can release ourselves from that old, stuck, sticky stuff and move forward beautifully like a butterfly out into the light of the day. So this quality of ending things well is playing into our reading this week. The present card, the victory card, such a jubilant kind of energy. So wands, creativity, inspiration, passion. That's what this card represents. And we have this person rather gleefully leaping these big flames on horseback. So in our present, there's this energy of enjoyment, of celebration, of jubilation, of really bright energy, bright, lively enjoyment, and being there, letting ourselves be there, giving ourselves permission to bask in it, to enjoy it, to allow ourselves to be inspired and to thrive in the victory, to thrive in the experience of what it's like to feel victorious and jubilant. It's just, as I said, it's a lovely, lovely energy. This quality, this energy of comet. I don't know. It feels like it needs to be drawn to our attention that in this card this time. I don't know if we're expecting any comments. I'm not really following that kind of stuff, but if we are. But again, what is this life about? This life is about being expressed. It's about sharing who we are. It's about showing up in the world and celebrating our uniqueness, celebrating each other's uniqueness, and honoring the good that we all have to bring forward into life. Okay, and so next card, the near future, we have the card of defeat, the Five of Swords. I always find it interesting that this card talks about defeat, and yet the person is not in a crumpled heap on the floor. The person is standing, facing the incoming adversity, with arms outstretched and standing on love. And it's a white rose, which traditionally represents purified desire. So there's this standing in love, standing in the highest expression of desire, because we have to remember that desire is what pulls life through us. Our desires are life calling to us. And when we honor them, not in a base way or a small, diminished way, but in a lofty way, we're channeling the light that we are here to bring through. So remembering the importance of our desires in our motivation in life, in what pulls us forward, and paying attention to those desires, not just suppressing them, but recognizing them, letting them have some voice, giving them attention. This is not to be consumed by them or dominated by them, but rather to understand ourselves better and understand our yes better, understand what we're called to better. So this card here, the card of defeat, it's in the position of the near future. This isn't really about being defeated. This is about standing in a place of purified desire and facing whatever adversity comes our way, clean and clear and open to the transformation that will result as we move through things. It's perhaps not so much defeat as it is transformation. As we experience life and have experiences and are challenged, we rise and we grow and we become different. And so one could see that as a defeat, but not really. It simply adds unto the magnificence of who we are as unique expressed individuals. So we're moving from this energy of completion, doing endings well, wrapping things up, finishing things, again, deep endings, ending relationships, ending jobs, ending, whatever it is that you're ending ways of being, things that you've done always, and now all of a sudden you're just not into it anymore, whatever that represents to you. And then this energy of being in this moment and celebrating this moment, celebrating the beauty, celebrating the enjoyment, celebrating being expressed and rising to our highest voice of expression, victorious in that. And then as we approach the future and whatever challenges we may have to face, standing in that place of love, of purified desire, of openness and willingness to adjust and adapt and grow and become more as a result of our dance with life and the challenges that we face. The foundation of the card, why we're having the reading this week, is the card of strength. Another major arcana, another soul growth card. So this is not the strength of beating up on other people. This is the strength of gentleness. And the story is, we have this woman and she has an infinity symbol over her head, and she's become friends with this lion because the lion had a thorn in its paw and she was able to take it out and relieve its pain, and therefore the animal aspect is very grateful. The strength card indicates our own intentional conscious dominion over the animal aspect of ourselves. So a little bit like we're talking about this desire energy, purified desire, is this idea that we're aware of what we want, but we don't just follow it blindly, controlled by it, dominated it. We elevate our desires. We come at it from a higher perspective and figure out how to honor that in a good way. So strength is the quiet strength of the higher, wiser, broader self, influencing us, coming down through our field and helping us to overcome the smaller animal aspect of our smaller selves, if you want to call it that, the human aspect. I mean, we're here to have this human experience, to be embodied in human form, to enjoy the sensory experience of being embodied. It's the glorious thing about being here now. That's why flowers and trees and sunlight and good food, all of those things are so appealing to us, because we're what we're here to do. Being in relationship with others, the sensation of touch, all of those things are important to us. So this card, the foundation card, why we need, what we need to know this week, what it's all about, this reading, is this energy of gentle strength. Of gentle strength with ourselves, gentle strength in our presence with others. Once again, from that higher, wiser place, that infinity symbol, that activated, intentional, conscious level, to the best of our ability, whatever that means for you. But striving to be the highest version of yourself, striving to be the best expression of yourself. Won't be the same every day. We just do our best. That's the biggest thing. We do our best, being here in human form and allowing more of that broader, wiser, shinier part of us to come through and guide us in all that we do. So it's interesting this week. These two major arcana, so that spiritual growth, pushing us, sort of jubilant sort of expression of overcoming and being expressed. And then this near future card of adversity or incoming, and how are we choosing to face it? Who are we being as we face the adversity in our lives? Because of course in the times of adversity, it's our greatest time to shine. It's the time, when we're most put upon, most challenging time for us to come back to the best expression of ourselves. So remembering that and coming back to ourselves with love, gentle strength, being kind to ourselves. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. It's not always pretty. We often fall down, but it's okay. Our core heart intention to strive to be our best is what continually motivates us and helps us to continue to shine and rise and be all that we're here to be. So that's our reading for this week. It's kind of interesting. So wherever you are on the death plane and letting things go and doing it well, I recognize you and I acknowledge you. Not always easy, but it really feels important to let go of the sticky stuff, to do it up, to clean it up, to release ourselves from those threads, those attachments to people, to places, and maybe just spending some time either journaling or visualizing, putting a rose between you and whatever that person or that experience. And a really powerful tool is, as I said, to visualize a rose between you and that person, for instance, or that situation, and just drain your energy out of it and the other person's energy out of the rose. And it's like you're pulling your energy back and releasing their energy back to them and letting the rose purify it as that energy is traveling. And when it feels complete, just blowing that rose up. I know it sounds kind of violent, but what you're doing is just releasing all that energy very powerfully to the field so it can go back to where it belongs. And that's one way of you taking control of your energetic field and cleaning things up, cutting cords and ending things. And I would encourage you to do it with that purified quality of energy of love and appreciation and gratitude. Even if you haven't processed the situation yet, there's some aspect of you that understands and will help you to bring it into consciousness if that's important. But once again, to wind it up with clarity, with kindness, with gentleness, with appreciation, with this strength, so that you free your energy to be here and now, pulling it all up into the present moment, and then taking that forward with you so that you have that clear energy, that, again, purified desire to face whatever it is that life brings your way. Okay, Creator. We're going to go to the card to grow on now. So what do we need to take with us this week? What would be most supportive and helpful of us this week as we move forward from this reading? What can we draw upon for our strength, for our wisdom, for our empowerment, for our good? Possessiveness. So this is where that death energy comes in, and it's so important, ending things well. So the Four of Pentacles, we have this woman who's sitting in a pile of treasure, and she is clutching her jewels to her chest and looking around furtively, wondering who's coming to take her stuff. Pentacles is the earth element. It's all about the material realm. And this individual has kind of lost their perspective in terms of the material. This clutching it and holding on to it and being fearful about losing it. It's like we have to transcend the materiality or our experience of the materiality. Be with it, enjoy it, be here now, taste it, touch it, savor it, all of those aspects. But as soon as we start clutching and holding on, we contract. Our energy field gets smaller. This fearfulness of somebody taking our stuff causes our field to get smaller. So our card to grow on this week is reminding us to take deep breaths, to breathe into the energy field of openness, of possibility, of willingness to see something from a different place, of softening, of yes, being here now, yes, enjoying what is, yes, savoring it, having appreciation for it, sharing it with others. But again, not so much this closed-fisted experience, but more of an open, breathing, freeing, enlivening energy. Because as soon as we contract, we start to shut down our energy. The blood flow doesn't happen very well. Our thoughts don't flow very well. We're not at our best. So we have to remember that contraction is kind of counterproductive. Sometimes it's necessary. When you're cold, you want to contract because you want to keep your heat in to keep you alive. But if you don't need to contract, then staying neutral or open is often the best way to navigate in the world, in appropriate ways, of course. So our card to grow on this week is being aware of when we start to clutch, when we start to shut down, when we start to contract, and breathing into it, just noticing it, being gentle with ourselves, and giving ourselves permission to be bigger than it, to see what we're doing, to love ourselves anyway, and make different choices. Doesn't mean we have to give all our stuff away. It's not what I'm saying. If you feel compelled to, and it's from a good, authentic place, and it feels 100% congruent, wicked. But more this feeling of if you notice you're feeling contracted, what can you do to breathe more life and energy into this so that you soften and you open, and then you're more receptive. There's more opportunity for energy to flow into your field for ideas to come to you, inspiration to come to you, and for your life to unfold more magnificently and with more ease and grace. So there we go. The Four of Pentacles. The other, another explanation for it as well is 4 is the square. From a geometric perspective, it's very, very stable, the most stable of the geometric forms. And this is Earth. So that would be like very stable Earth. So to me, that speaks of being too stuck to the material plane, being too identified with the material plane, and not enough with the broader, wiser part of you. And because when we start to think that our good and our well-being is dependent on what we do or the material experience, then we're missing out on a whole huge part of the picture. And so that's important as well, to realize that we're here to transcend our material understanding of life. It's not to say that it's not part of it, but there is so much more. And we need to transcend our limited perspective into something broader and wiser and more inclusive, because it changes how we do everything in our lives when we understand that we're energy first and foremost. And that's how life works. Again, when you're contracted, there's nowhere for that energy to go. There's nowhere for that energy to flow. That's why softening and opening is so important. And we can do that with the breath. We can do that with our taking that nice deep breath, coming back to our bodies, being here in our now, and just breathing our way through whatever it is that's got us contracted. Because a new inspiration will come when we give it the opportunity. Okay, I think I'm complete with that card. Hopefully you are too. Okay, so with that, let's close the reading together. I invite you to close your eyes. Let's take a nice deep breath. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children now. We're just finishing up the reading of this week. I ask that you be with us as we learn to end things well, whatever that means. To do our endings with intention, with love, with respect, and with honor. To complete whatever it was that came before so that we can have our energy back. To embrace new life. To have it for some future iteration of ourselves that we don't even know is possible yet. I just ask that you facilitate that in our experience. Help us as we face whatever is coming in, this energy in our near future, to help us to just be grounded and peaceful in the face of whatever adversity or incoming energy is moving our way, and help us to just be who we are, to be strong in a gentle, kind, grounded manner, and to let that strength permeate all aspects of ourselves, especially our more animal nature, which can be kind of limiting in its appetites and its desires. Help us to purify our desire and adopt a higher, broader perspective that will help us to function more effectively as a human being on the planet at this time. Help us to release our attachment to the material and to open to our spiritual self and all that that means, to have more of that in our experience so that we can expand into the light and have more of that wisdom and light and energy informing us and guiding us and influencing us in our day-to-day experience. I want to thank all those who helped to hold the space today, all the grandmothers, the grandfathers, my guides, my guardians, the angels, all those who come every week to support us. Thank you for being part of this experience. And of course, thank you. I'm grateful for you too, for being here, for being willing to grow and give your energy to being all that you can be. Let's keep it up. Lots of love. Take good care, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.